this is Teresa and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be spicing things up a little bit on the channel. I'm going to be talking about a video game. Like, I play video games very casually. I definitely get distracted very easily with video games. This video game took me an entire year to complete the one run of, like fully from start to end. And it's not because I just struggled that much. I just got distracted. So if you're like me and you're not super into video games, but you would like to give some video games a little dabble, a little tiptoe in there, and you've been interested in this one because the sequel is coming out in sometime in 2025, I'm going to be doing my thoughts on Hades so far, as someone who's completed one entire run out of the 10 you need to complete the actual video game. Let's get into it. As I said, I am not a huge video game nerd. I like 100%ing video games when I can, but if I don't do it and I just finish the storyline, 100% a-okay with that. I don't really play video games. I like watching my boyfriend do them, but I have really enjoyed playing Hades as of such, so I just thought I would do a quick little here's what to expect if you got drawn in by Hades 2 and don't know if Hades 1 will be your thing, or don't know if you should just watch someone play through the entire game, or if you should give it a gander. Hades is a roguelike, which is based off of the original game, I believe, called Rogue. There are a lot of roguelikes and a lot of roguelites, and I had to Google to make sure, but Hades is a roguelike, where basically you go through the entirety of the levels, and if you die, you start off at the beginning. But unlike the original Rogue game, where you start off with none of the power-ups, none of the story character progression, you keep all of the power-ups that you have in the story progressions that you get throughout the game. Hence the term roguelike. This follows young Zagreus, or Zag, who is trying to escape the pits of the underworld, where his father is telling him no, he can't do that, no one's ever escaped, because Zagreus is on a quest to find his mother. Now, throughout this story, you get to meet a bunch of different characters, all of whom I love very dearly, and you get to build Zagreus' relationship with them. In some cases, you get to mend relationships that Zagreus has either broken to be able to achieve this goal of his, or you get to put people together who have been separated because of their canonical myths. So you get characters like Thanatos, his brother Hypnos, you get Megara and the Three Furies, you get Nyx, you get Achilles, Patroclus, you get Orpheus and Eurydice. So you just get a good cast of characters from various points of mythology who have interacted in some way, shape, or form with the underworld. You also get the Greek pantheon, so a handful of those characters like Zeus, Poseidon, Aphrodite, Ares, Hermes, Apollo, Ares, Athena, Dionysus, and Artemis. And you get also another handful of characters that are unique to this game as well. So it's just a lot of different things. There are 3 main levels of Hades. So you get Tartarus, which is obviously, if you're knowledgeable of Greek mythology, you know that Tartarus is kind of not the bottom of the bottom, the deepest of the deep, where people don't really, I'm forgetting my Greek mythology, but where all the bad people tend to go. And then you have your second level, which is Asphodel, the Asphodel Meadows, which is the majority of where the deceased end up in Greek mythology. So if you're just like you and me, we'll probably end up there. It's not cozy, but it's not terrible either. Then the final level that you have to go through is Elysium, which is where all of the heroes and everyone go. Then that's kind of where you want to go, but there's a higher chance you'll probably end up in Asphodel with everyone else. So with those, you go through each level, you defeat a boss, and then you move on. But if you die, then you go back down to the House of Hades, and you get to interact with the characters before going back up again. Like I said, I am not the video game nerd. So if you're looking for kind of a beginner, I don't really play video games, but this intrigued me, and I want to give it a shot, this is some things you should probably consider. Because if you're anything like me, repeating levels over and over again does get frustrating. In fact, when I first started playing the game, my friend gave me I know you're a perfectionist, I am one too, but you can't be too hard on yourself if you find yourself repeating the same level over and over and over again, or getting stuck on a level over and over and over again. That's the whole point of the game. Look at that, I even put out that I've always struggled getting through video games, and I could have one of 2 ways. I either finish it very quickly, within the span of a month, or I get distracted and forget about it for a year. Hades is one of the ones where I forget about it for a year. I started this video game November 2023, right around Thanksgiving. I got pretty far into it within the first couple weeks that I played it. So once you play it more, you get a feel for, I'll talk about it more, but you get a feel for the levels and how each of them manage and each of the bosses' patterns, which makes moving on very easy. But then I got distracted and I didn't pick it back up again until November 2024, where I finished my first official run through and I got a chance to actually defeat the big bad evil boss and let me find my mom. But things to consider if you're trying to figure out the game you should play. Those are things about me you should consider as a player, and if you resonate with that in any way, shape, or form, then you'll be okay playing this game. Thoughts on the game so far? As I said, I don't know how long I've played this game, how many hours I've put into it, but in order to finish the game in its entire completion, or at least get the main storyline finished, not so much everyone else's individual storyline in the game, you have to play the run successfully 10 times. So you have to go through each 3 levels, and you have to beat the big bad boss 10 times for you to complete the main story of the game. That being said, if you are someone who is a perfectionist, who struggles with like picking new hobbies up because once you get to a point where you struggle with something, you want to put it down because you can't get it right the first time, this game will be very, very good at testing your perfectionism. Might be even a really good practice for you to get into it, because there's no way ever that you're gonna be able to, well, I mean, if you're a speedrunner or just really that good, that you'll be able to finish the entire game in the first run. You just won't have the power-ups for it. You won't be able to really expand on things. But if you are someone who struggles with perfectionism, this will test it. And maybe it's a good thing to test it, because then you have a safe space for you to make mistakes and try again without there being a lot of stakes in your life, if you're anything like me. If you're not versed in the concept of a roguelike or a roguelite or a rogue game, this game will piss you off. We have, I think, a friend of ours who has tried it, who wanted to play it, and then she told us that she just got pissed off that she kept having to start over and over again. But there's just something you have to keep in mind. That's just kind of the point of the game. My friend who got me into the game really drilled it into me and told me that the whole point of the game is that you have to keep starting over to be able to finish the game in its entirety. So if you're not getting the hang of it right away, that's okay. That's definitely something to consider if you're going to pick up the game. Something to keep in mind, because I can see why you would get kind of pissed off. I've definitely twisted my body in some very weird contortions to be able to play the game because I was so mad that I didn't know what I was doing. But it's fine. The characters are definitely the highlight of this for me. Obviously, this is not going to be a Therese analyzation if I don't talk about the plot and the characters, given the nature of this channel. But I think the characters are definitely the biggest driving force for me to finish the game. Without it, it would be a game that I pick up every now and again, but never really had the drive to finish. But this one has a lot of characters, like I said in the beginning. You get a variety of them from many multitudes of mythologies that you could ever think of. So you get the chance to really learn about each character. Even the ones where you just only get power-ups from, you don't really have to develop a relationship with. You learn more about their mythology, and you get to learn more about the personalities, and it's just a really good driving force for me to keep going. Because I know that at the end of this, I'll have characters that are together who are healing wounds or healing their relationships, or just will build a better relationship with Zagreus as a whole. Which is really exciting to think about, because I think I'm getting really, really close with Orpheus and Eurydice. So I need to pick it back up again, because I really want to see them back together. They deserve the happiest of happiest endings in the afterlife, like. But 100% if you're a character-driven story person in any matter, this will be a good one for you. You get to have a variety of characters that you can really lean on, watch progress. You can pick your favorites. You can pick a storyline that you really want to develop right away and go from there, and then pick up the other ones as you go along. So it's not really something that has a lack of character development, for sure. You'll see the characters develop with you in real time as you go through each level and interact with them. And then force feed them, because, you know, what better way to forge a bond than by feeding someone food. The other thing that I have as my thoughts so far is that the gameplay, I know I wasn't going to talk about the gameplay, but it's going to be a little gloss over, but the gameplay itself is actually really nice in my very simple gamer opinion. Obviously, each weapon comes with a learning curve. Each weapon has a special thing about them that you have to figure out, has a specific like a rhythm that you need to be able to continue on with the games. But the game never actually forces you to choose weapons or change weapons every time. It'll give you the option to change weapons. Like it'll give you, there's like a little shadow around it that'll give you more bonuses as the game, like you go through it with that specific weapon. But I have made it through most of my runs with just the shield, and I think I've done a pretty decent good job. No one who's actually seen me play video games comment. It doesn't like force you to change out if you feel really attached to this. Obviously be aware that you will have power-ups that you will need that you'll only be able to get, or rewards that you'll only be able to get by switching weapons. But if you're like me, who wants to just kind of go through the story and get the hang of the actual like rhythm of each like boss and each mechanic in the level, you can go through it without having to switch weapons. I know everyone's probably going to be like, oh my god, you need to. No, you don't. The game's not going to penalize you. You just won't get the rewards for it, which I guess is a way of penalizing you now that I'm thinking about it. But like, you have the game forever, so once you get more comfortable playing it, you can start switching weapons. But if you're like me, who's like, no, I like this is good for me, I'm gonna stick to it until I have the game, like I have a better understanding of the game, you'll be fine. Moving on to, I guess, some advice to people who want to get into Hades and maybe just don't know, like, just don't know if they want to do it, if there's something that they're going to be good at all. Note that if this is your first time ever playing Hades and you've never played a roguelite, or a rogue adjacent game, you will be spending most of your first runs, and I mean like not like your first ever run, but your first run to the first level, your first run to the second level, first run to the third level, first run to get to the boss, because there's a little thing in between the third level and the boss. Don't worry about it. You'll be spending most of that time just learning the mechanics of each level, and that's okay. You're not gonna know. Certain things will hurt more than others. You don't know how to use things. So just knowing that you will have to learn everything multiple times over for the first time. And during these runs, you'll get to learn exactly what each symbol means, what each symbol is in accordance to the gods that you get, what the boons you want to use that'll help you really get further into the game, and what boons you like to use. Like, I have a specific set of boons that I really love using that really help me progress into the game and help me get a lot more damage in, a lot of passive damage in, while also protecting my little booty behind, because much like in normal video games, I suck at dodging. I'm gonna say that for you one more time. I suck at dodging. And this game, much like other rogues adjacent games out there, are dependent on your ability to dodge. I don't do that well. So if I can get through this without really knowing how to dodge, you can get through it. And then you also get a chance to learn each boss's patterns every time. There are, like, for the first 2 levels, those 2 levels, I want to say, I could be wrong with the third one, but the third one makes me so mad because they like talk back. With the first 2 levels, each boss has a variation. There are 3 variations of each boss. Telling you that now so you know. But there are 3 variations of each boss. You'll have to learn each of their patterns and your best way of learning through that. And like I said, you'll have to take this time to learn the different beats of the levels. Like in Tartarus, you can switch between platforms and not get hurt. In Asphodel, you learn Zagreus isn't fireproof. Not that's it with you. A god of Hades isn't fireproof. In Elysium, you have clown cars, clown chariots. So like I said, there's different beats each level that'll be different, and you will need to get the hang of. And obviously, something else to consider and advice is that you won't really see linear progress. And what I mean by that, it's not going to be like a Zelda game where you go, well, I guess, is a Zelda game a really good idea of linear progress? I guess, like, we'll use Genshin. I guess in the sense, like, you won't see, like, visible progress. Like, you know, in Genshin you go through, like, Mondstadt to Liyue to other places, Inazuma, and, like, once you finish one area, like, the quests will close for that, so to speak. Like, you don't have main character quests or character quests anymore in that area. It's not like that, but you'll see the progress more so with the information you'll learn. Every time you come back and finish everything, you get to learn more information, you get to fill up that little journal of yours, and you get to cry with all the characters. So progress is definitely non-linear in that aspect. If you're looking for something where quests close in Asphodel, quests closes in Tartarus, it's not going to be that. So just keep that in mind. And then my last thoughts so far. Honestly, Hades is easily, as much as I haven't finished the game yet, because, you know, tiny attention span, it's honestly one of my favorite video games that I've played. It's only because it kind of frees me from that perfectionist mindset where I have to finish everything at this specific time in this specific way. It lets me, like, make mistakes and then know that while I die from this one level that I typically don't die from, it doesn't have much of a consequence for me when I go back. Like, obviously I'm not starting at the beginning of the game, It's not the actual Rogue game, but I get to be able to like free myself from these perfectionist expectations that I can finish this game linearly, and that there's an end to everything that I do, and that if I make a mistake, it's not detriment to like, oh yeah, I can't finish this quest now because I died, or I can't move forward with the story because I died, because that's the whole point of the story, is for you to keep dying and keep coming back. Like I said, the characters are super compelling for me to keep moving forward. I love seeing one of my favorite like smaller, like it's not even like a level, but you get, like I said, these, you'll learn what the individual symbols mean, but there's one like little rest level that you get with Eurydice, and hearing the voice actor sing every time, I just stand there for a good 5 or 10 minutes and just hear it loop. Like I said, the characters are very compelling. So, and even after you run it through the entirety the first time, the game will add more mechanics for you to add and change up, so you're not going through the same beats of the game. Have I done any of these mechanics yet? Not yet. But I am interested to add them into the story, to add them into my playing, and see how much they really challenge me, or if I prefer the original, like the base game without these additions and different mechanics, or if the different mechanics really make it more enjoyable for me. But that is it for my thoughts so far on Hades the video game. I really have plans to finish it before Hades 2 comes out, so if you guys want a like follow-up video when I do finish it of what my thoughts were, was I satisfied with the ending, did the characters really make me cry all that much, let me know in the comments and I'd be super excited to do that. But until next time, hit like, subscribe, and comment, and I'll talk to you guys in my next video. Bye!